People, deluded, I'm back again. Now, Arsenal have defeated Rapid Vienna 4-1. I might as well review the player ratings or offer my thoughts. Now, what can I say? The only thing we let ourselves down is that we didn't walk away with a clean sheet and we conceded so early in the second half. But the positives outweigh the negatives. Like, I know the level of opposition, you know, the context is around the game. There's not as much at stake as a North London derby. You know, a lot of the mental aspects as to why we played the way we played, in my opinion, and you saw movement and stuff because the pressure was off. Also, we have to discount the level of opposition with all due respect to them as well. But, you know, I saw free-flowing football. I saw more efforts. Apart before this game and before Spurs played and the rest of the Europa League action, the only two teams in Spurs and Hoffenheim shot more than us in the Europa League. In the Premier League, I'd be surprised if there isn't, you know, if we're not bottom three for that. You know, we're scoring a lot of goals in the Europa. We're shooting a lot. You know, it's the one bit that we're having some victories and playing like a football team we want to play like. And I know a lot of you, whether we talk about the collectives, whether it's Lacazette's form, Nelson's performance, Maitland-Niles in that position, you know, whoever, we're asking, why can't you players, even the ones not involved, take the same mental aspects and play like this in the Premier League and start well at home? You know, you got the goal in the first 9 minutes. By 18 minutes, you put this game to bed. By 42 minutes, you know, this team had to pass the pad if it was FIFA. We let ourselves down, obviously, conceding. It was nice to see Smith Rowe and Maitland-Niles link up as well. And whatnot. So let's start with Runnison. I give Runnison a 5, but it's the same as last week. I said, you know, him and Eddie were the ones that looked a bit shaky for me, and I think Runnison for that goal let himself down. But other than that, he had nothing to do really. He weren't tested and he did nothing dodgy. You know, Runnison has spoken about wanting to take Leno's place. You do things like that, you're not going to. You know, how's Kolasinac is being more of a shot stopper than you? You know, you're in the goal, like you're literally buried, like you're buried in your own net before the ball's gone in. And you know, I'm not really convinced with Runnison in what I've seen from him, but you can prove me wrong, and I'm not saying to scapegoat him, but he can get a 5 for me. Mustafi gets a 5, weren't troubled, didn't do anything wrong. Pablo Marie gets a 6 for me, maybe even a 7. I'll give him a 7. You know, he played to the same level as Mustafi to a degree, weren't tested, but he did a bit more. You know, him and a couple players need to get the right footing because, you know, there was a couple of nervy moments. There was a moment like he mistimed the header and he lost out. There was one time he lost his footing, but I think he did well with his distribution. He obviously got his goal. A good, convincing performance within the context is from a man who hasn't had too much game time. So I give him, I give him a 6. I give him a 6. I feel 7's a bit of a cap. Shout out to him for scoring. Bonus point. It's a 5, but bonus point takes it to a 6. I think Eddie Nketiah worked hard today as well. You see him strength someone in his own box. You see his link-up play. Again, couple of dummies. You know, he done well for his goal. You know, I give Eddie a 7. I think he played well. I give El Nene a 5. Looked a bit rusty. Like, he looked like someone that for the last couple of weeks he ain't played, but was unfortunate to get booked for a yellow. And I don't think he was poor, but I give El Nene a 5. He starts for me in the week. I'm going to give Kolasinac a 6, you know. I'm one of Kolasinac's harsh critics, but I think he looked good on the left-hand flank, you know. Maybe a 5, you know, a 5. I'll give him a 5. I think he played well. I give Cedric a 6 just for being involved. I think he could have done better for the goal we conceded, but he saw plenty of the ball. Sometimes played it behind Nelson, but I think he was busy. He did all right today, man. So I give Cedric a 6. Pepe gets a 7. Second half, he started to go back into old habits. And, you know, there was one time he beat someone, he lays it and they score. He didn't do that. Apologies for kicking the screen. And he started to just, you know, enjoy it a bit too much, doing a bit, you know, not forgetting that this isn't a game in the cages. This is a professional game of football. But, you know, Pepe was involved a lot today. You know, he had a good game. And you're waiting until he's back to be an option for the game in the Prem. So a 7 for me for him. I feel it's a good performance from everybody, really and truly. For me, Reece Nelson, a 6. You'd be getting a 6, but a bonus point of a 7. It should be a 7 anyways, because, again, he got an assist. I feel he was involved a lot. One criticism will be the same thing in that, you know, set pieces, he needs to work on them, saying that he did get an assist from that, and he should have had another one for Eddie's goal. But I think Nelson looked good. You know, he looked brighter in the other games, admittedly, but should have had a goal when Maitland-Niles put him through, but he snatched at it. But he had a good game, and I think, you know, him and Maitland, I don't think they're going to start against Spurs, but they've done all they can for it to at least be a talking point among Arsenal fans. So I feel he had a good performance. Lacazette for me gets a 10. He scored that goal, was just an icing on top of the cake. You know, he worked hard, he dropped deep, everything was running through him. He had a really good game and he looked to be enjoying himself, and that's the Lacazette we need in the league. And I don't know if Aubameyang's still going to play through the middle or if Lacazette or Eddie's going to get moved, but Lacazette, if he has to pick, it's going to be him. You know, he scored a banger today. I guarantee when Arteta goes through his analysis and reminds these players what happened the last time we played at White Hart Lane or at their place and we threw it away in 25 minutes, who scored the goal? You know, Lacazette. So maybe he's played his way into that. I don't think we'll go with a 10 in that game because, you know, if you go with Lacazette and a 10, Aubameyang through the middle, you know, Willian on the right, you know, I'd assume Saka on the left. It sounds good, but you're playing all your cards really and truly against Jose, who is the master chess player. You've got Balogun. You'd have to have Balogun on the bench, in my opinion. Eddie would probably be your only option, assuming Balogun isn't there. You can't call upon Pepe. Yes, you could have You could have Nelson, not Willian. Apologies, and Willian off the bench actually isn't that convincing. Willian had a bit of a so-so time off the bench. I'd give Smith Rowe just for scoring a 7, but he looked good. I think Ceballos can't really rate him, but he looked good off the bench in his little cameo. Really, I'd give him a 6 for what I saw. You know, Chambers didn't really do anything, but shout out to Chambers for a convincing performance as well. Lacazette would be the man of the match for me. I think he deserves a 9, you know. You really could give Lacazette a 10, and I wouldn't begrudge anyone. Really, you know, I might just, you know, I'll give Lacazette a 10. He was good today still. It should be a 9, but I'll give Lacazette a 10, really. So Lacazette, 10 out of 10. I don't think I could have asked anything more of him today, in particular in the minutes he played. So in relation to my player ratings, that's all I've got to talk about and say, people. So I'm going to keep it moving. On that note, people, DG.